going on, wrestling family? Welcome back to the channel. So this video is called WWE Roster Destroyed. I'd say they got slaughtered, man. They didn't just get destroyed. People died last night, okay? They got slaughtered. The real reason Drew McIntyre quit WWE and New Day breakup. Now, before we get started, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Let's get into this.
What is going on, guys? It is WrestleMania here, back with some more news. Oh my goodness, what a Raw.
Yes.
The WYATT Sicks are here, and they managed to destroy Raw. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of Raw, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Raw being destroyed and the body count, the real reason behind Drew McIntyre quitting WWE, are the New Day breaking up, Ricochet's return is doubtful, more crossovers with WWE, and much more.
Oh, really?
Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on WrestleMania XL. As always, we won't recap the show, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number one, well worth the wait. Uncle Howdy promised a massacre, and he delivered with the WWE Universe witnessing arguably the most brutal and bloodiest debut of a wrestler or hero faction. The carnage inflicted by the WYATT Sicks made the Bloodline 2.0's recent destruction look like kid-friendly entertainment in comparison. The segment was pulled off perfectly, whether it was throwbacks to Brody Lee's AEW debut or the sick twists on the Firefly Funhouse characters Huskus the Pig and Ramblin' Rabbit. The segment was nothing short of horrific, and if the rumors of WWE wanting to downplay supernatural elements are true, this was a skillful way to portray the group as something from the Devil's Rejects or some other horror film while keeping things realistic, at least by wrestling standards. The million-dollar question is where the WWE goes from here, as fans expect a strong and credible follow-up. After all, attacking a wrestler is one thing, but murderizing an entire backstage crew and half the roster is something else. Nonetheless, fans couldn't have asked for a better debut of the WYATT Sicks, and for many fans, the debut was worth the wait, as more than a few fans were beginning to get frustrated by what seemed like an endless string of QR codes. Number two,
listen,
Otis
I agree with that so much, man. I agree with that. Now, although personally for me, I enjoyed the QR codes, I enjoyed the secret messages, the photos, the videos, the Easter eggs, all that stuff. I was eating it up. I loved every second of it. But the more and more they came out with QR codes, the more and more I thought, WWE, have you guys ever met the IWC? They only got so much patience for this stuff until they eventually turn on this whole situation. Y'all better bring out the WYATT Sicks as soon as possible. And they did it last night, and it was well worth the wait. I loved every moment of it. It was done masterfully. I am a fan of horror movies, so the horror elements implemented into this, I appreciated every moment of it. And the mask for Uncle Howdy, as opposed to having that big, bulky, mask or whatever you want to call it, he had the smaller mask, and it looks way better, way creepier. And Bo Dallas in the costume, the way his mannerisms was, really reminded me of Bray Wyatt. Now, here's the thing when it comes to this whole entire situation. And first and foremost, RIP to Bray Wyatt. Thank you so much for what you contributed to the wrestling industry and for being a good person, because that's all I heard about him. When it comes to these things that Bray Wyatt created, okay, their debuts are always amazing. It's always done masterfully. But the problem is, when they implement them into a feud or into some type of storyline, that's where it feels like things start to fall apart. When it comes to like LA Knight at the Pitch Black match, or we're talking about The Fiend versus Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell. So that's my only concern about the WYATT Sicks. How will they book this? But I think the problem that pretty much hurt the other two was the enormous amount of supernatural elements that were added into it. And as we heard from WrestleMania, they said that WWE is supposed to downplay the supernatural elements a little bit more. So maybe it'll be more grounded and more realistic, and that could possibly help with booking these characters in a way that is realistic and seem a lot more believable. But I don't know about you guys, I am excited to see what they're going to do next. This is going to be fantastic. Let's move on.
Free. 3 cheers for Otis. The big guys finally had enough and broke free from Chad Gable, taking the rest of Alpha Academy with him and launching what should be a promising babyface run for Otis. But as for Maxine Dupree and Akira Tozawa, that may be a different story. The finish was long overdue and a bit anticlimactic, but it did the job, and the twist with Chad Gable's brutal beatdown later in the show should keep fans guessing whether Gable is finished with his students or he has bigger things to worry about, that being Uncle Howdy. Number 3, Money in the Bank qualifiers. Kudos to the WWE for making the most of its Money in the Bank qualifiers by making them triple threat matches. The triple threat stipulation simulated the match's multi-man and multi-women format and gave more superstars TV time. They even tried to use the women's match to set up a Liv Morgan versus Zelina Vega match by having Morgan distract Vega, costing her the match. Number 4, Liv
So is
Morgan
that
segments
the
continue to sizzle.
Money in the
Last
Bank
night's
match?
segment between Liv Morgan and Daddy Dom was another sizzler, as Morgan dared Dom to get his vest back from her by taking it off. Damian Priest's timely arrival was hilarious as he played a pseudo-dad to Dominik. The Liv Morgan Dominik Mysterio storyline is an example of a storytelling fundamental, giving viewers a chance to experience wish fulfillment through the characters on screen. Let's face it, who wouldn't want Liv Morgan throwing herself at you and having Rhea Ripley waiting for you at home? Number 5, Seth Rollins is back. The Visionary
Didn't
is back
expect
and he's
this.
already back in the world title picture. Rollins' surprise appearance and Damian Priest giving him a title shot at Money in the Bank has fans talking as they wonder whether Priest can be a healthy Rollins and who will be champion when Gunther challenges him for the title at SummerSlam. I think one tweet put it perfectly. This is The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. Number 6, Hoss fight. There's nothing quite like a Hoss fight, and fans got it last night with Sheamus channeling the Celtic warrior of old and taking it to Bron Breakker. The finish of Ludwig Kaiser attacking Sheamus worked because there was no need to have Bron beat Sheamus yet, and the finish leaves things open for a Sheamus-Bron rematch while building the Sheamus-Kaiser feud. And Drew McIntyre quits. I quit. AJ Styles said it at Clash at the Castle against Cody Rhodes, and now it must be contagious as Drew McIntyre walked out of the WWE last night, leaving fans speechless. A clever follow-up from his controversial loss to Damian Priest on Saturday. That was a good one about the baddest.
You know, that was really shocking. Him saying I quit, but I preferred that over getting a 25 to 30 minute promo from Drew McIntyre. Although I'm a huge fan of Drew McIntyre, he's great on the mic. This is the best I've ever seen him. I didn't want to see a 10-15 minute promo talking about him being cost the match and things like that. Although he'll be right by saying that, but I don't want to see that same cycle over and over. So hopefully they're using this as a moment to kind of develop the character of Drew McIntyre, where he realizes by blaming on other people or saying that other people's fault that I'm not where I want to be is really my fault and not theirs. And maybe he'll look at it in a different perspective and, you know, develop his character a little bit more. I'm looking forward to that.
Another boring breakup. Is Damage Control breaking up? As we've asked before, which WWE faction hasn't been broken up? Raw was magnificent, but that doesn't excuse the WWE's lazy booking of another breakup storyline. Judging from things so far, the WWE is likely already planning the WYATT Sicks breakup. But still, nothing downright ugly, and Raw was nothing short of phenomenal. Last night's Red Brand over-delivered even before Uncle Howdy and his cadre of creeps showed up, with Seth Rollins returning, Otis breaking free, and Drew McIntyre walking out. This was a type of show a promotion should deliver after a PLE, capitalizing on the added eyeballs from it and giving them a reason to tune in. What did you guys think of Raw last night? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. Our first story looks at Raw Destroyed. At top of the day's news is the incredible debut of the WYATT Sicks. Raw ended with the group debuting and, as promised, inflicting a massacre on the backstage area. The eerie segment showed 5 individuals in bizarre masks standing over many fallen production team members, WWE officials, and even wrestlers. Fans are trying to piece together just what happened, and as you might expect, the WWE wanted to leave fans guessing as to who was laid out and what the future holds. Fans saw Chad Gable laid out in the backstage area with a bloody head, which led to fans believing Chad had been future endeavored to that great squared circle in the sky. But this is what seems to be the group's victims based on what we saw on Raw last night. Carmelo Hayes, Gunther, Dominik Mysterio, Triple H, Chad Gable, and Cody Rhodes. As you can see, the WYATT Sicks took out heels and babyfaces alike, which means that no one is safe. One question to ask is whether the victims were targeted because of a link to the group, or was this a random attack to just show how dangerous the new faction is? What do you guys think of the WYATT Sicks debut? Do you think the WWE can follow this up on next week's programming? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up,
it's interesting because it makes you wonder, what connection do that list of wrestlers have? Because they're not just on Raw. They're Raw and SmackDown people. You see Cody Rhodes and Carmelo Hayes. Now, the first thing that came to my mind is I was like, maybe it's in like alphabetical order. Carmelo Hayes and Cody Rhodes with a C. Dominik Mysterio is with a D. Chad Gable has a C. So my mind was going towards that. But I'm sure it's not just as easy as that. So I'm wondering, what is the real reason? Now, I don't think that they're actually dead per se. I'm wondering if this is kind of like a metaphor of what they could do, or maybe this is something they're like, okay, we're going to show you what we could possibly do in the future, or maybe this is a metaphor for something, because I think I saw a graphic for Chad Gable to be in a triple threat match next Monday for a Money in the Bank contract. So that shows us that he's not dead, unless they do some like crazy, like, I don't know, like RPG storyline where they get revived or something like that, which I don't know if a lot of people will take that well, but it's going to be interesting to see how they get out of this whole situation.
How did the fans react to the WYATT Sicks debut? It looks like WYATT Sicks made a great impression on fans attending Raw, as a new report shows the group getting a standing ovation following their debut.
Wow.
Unsurprisingly, WWE has already released a WYATT Sicks t-shirt, and if the group proves successful, it'll likely be a huge moneymaker.
I ordered mine
the real
already.
reason behind Drew quitting. What's going on with Drew McIntyre? Not only did McIntyre announce he's quitting the WWE, but he also deleted his social media accounts on X and Instagram.
Yeah,
While there's
so
no official
he's
word on
going...
what's happening, this is obviously a storyline. Nonetheless,
Yeah.
what's the real reason behind the storyline? Is Drew taking off time to spend with his friends and family? Is this a way to build heat for Drew's White Hot program with CM Punk? Is this a good way to take some other heat off for WWE from the unpopular finish to Drew versus Damien at Clash at the Castle? Now, fans have seen bogus retirements before, including AJ Styles' recent retirement announcement that he used to set up Cody Rhodes for a beatdown. In Drew's case, this likely has something to do with CM Punk's announced appearance at SmackDown, with some fans feeling Drew will deliver a grade A beating to Punk this Friday. While this is a long one, some fans believe Drew knew about the coming apocalypse from Uncle Howdy and decided to bail. Regardless, Drew's abrupt resignation has fans talking, and it's a reminder that you can book more than one major storyline without burning fans out. Although everyone is talking about the WYATT Sicks, other things are happening, which only adds to the excitement driving the WWE. Next up, WWE...
Yeah, I think, I saw a lot of people saying, like, people escaped. I saw that video, the interview with Jey Uso. He had me dying laughing. He said, they can have the Fireflies. I don't want no smoke. I don't want no problems. Salute to the Wyatt family, all these different things. But, I really believe that Drew McIntyre is going to show up on SmackDown. There's a reason why CM Punk said he's going to be on SmackDown in Chicago. Drew McIntyre lost his title opportunity in his hometown. So why shouldn't Drew McIntyre show up in Chicago at CM Punk's hometown and cause a problem? Or if he doesn't do that, maybe they don't know exactly what they want to do with those two until maybe Money in the Bank or SummerSlam. So maybe this is just enough time for them to kind of like create some space between the times that they interact with each other. And then once they get closer to the PLE that they're going to have their match, maybe they'll start to interact a lot more then. But who knows? The only way to find out is when we continue to watch wrestling.
Over with more promotions. Now, you ain't seen nothing yet. Well, that's clearly the WWE's policy when it comes to strengthening its presence in the wrestling industry, as a new report indicates the WWE plans to expand its current cooperation with other promotions. Lucha Libre Online is reporting that WWE is looking to establish alliances and/or agreements with companies in Mexico and Puerto Rico, the intention being to create partnerships similar to what they're doing with TNA, Noah, and Marigold. What do you guys think of the WWE working with these other promotions? Do you believe that they can help WWE and the promotions it works with? Next up, the New Day breaking up. Is this the end of the New Day? What was once unthinkable could be happening, as it appears that Xavier Woods may be tired of playing second to Kofi Kingston. At least that's the message Karrion Kross is trying to poison Woods' mind with. If you saw Raw, and you likely noticed the disgusted look on Xavier's face when Kofi accepted Kross's challenge, which was made to both members of the New Day without asking Woods if he wanted to fight Kross. Meltzer thinks that WWE may finally break up the New Day, and noted on the Wrestling Observer Radio, I guess they are going to break up the New Day. I mean, nothing lasts forever in WWE. Here's the problem though, if you break them up, neither of them are going to do much. The New Day hasn't been doing much for at least 2 years, and a feud could give Xavier and Kofi some high profile matches. The biggest factor in their split is whether the WWE Universe will go along, especially given their love for all 3 members of the New Day. Next up, Ricochet return.
Dave Meltzer with all the optimism for WWE as usual. That is you don't know. And I feel like this breakup was long overdue. I feel like at that one point where it seemed like Xavier Woods was tired because he's been in WWE for a long time and never won a singles title. I felt like that was the moment to pull the trigger on him turning heel. So maybe this could be the situation, and they're gonna have something for them to do. Come on, man. That's a little crazy right there. And it just, the turn won't. If there's a turn coming, if it is Xavier Woods or Kofi Kingston, I feel like it'll be impactful, but not as impactful if Big E was there, man. I really do miss Big E in the ring. I hate that he's injured, but much success for him in his career so far.
Doubtful. It looks like the rumors of Ricochet making 1 or more appearances before his WWE contract ends were unfounded. There were whisperings that WWE was thinking about bringing the Future of Flight back for a match or an angle after how well Bron Breakker's beatdown on him on Raw went. While
it wouldn't
this
make any sense to do that.
WWE may feel there's no point in bringing him back when he's leaving for another company, especially since Bron is competition from Sami Zayn and Sheamus. And finally, more
Bring
details
him back to do
on
what?
PLE.
He just got destroyed and packed up and put into an ambulance. Like, what else are he gonna come back like with a neck brace and cast on trying to fight Brian Breaker again and then get beat up again? Like, is he gonna do the Dolph Ziggler Goldberg thing where he keep talking stuff and getting speared over and over again? Like, at this point, you already did it. Just let it go, bro. There's no reason to bring this man back.
Revival. Last but not least, more details are emerging on the rumors of WWE bringing back its Bad Blood PLE. PW Insider Elite reports that WWE could bring the show back on 5th October, the same day that the original Bad Blood debuted. PW Insider is also reporting that the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia is a possible venue. But there you have it, folks. Our look at Raw, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need.
It's kind of crazy because it's June, July, August, September, October. 4 months away. They don't necessarily know the date specifically. I know they said a date there, but that don't mean it's the exact date. And they don't have a venue for it. So it's very interesting that they have this, developing without knowing anything yet the year of. So I'm hoping that we do get a Bad Blood pay-per-view. I'm wondering if they're going to have the Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley match there. And it will be a perfect time to have the match between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. But the problem is, since CM Punk already cost them at Clash at the Castle, how long could you stretch out the feud between these two without getting repetitive with the same promos or the same being petty online and things like that? How will you do it? That's not for me to figure out. That's for the creative. But what do you guys think? Was the WYATT Sicks wait, was that well worth the wait? What do you think about Drew McIntyre saying he quit? Do you think the New Day is breaking up? And how do you feel about them handling or how they're handling Damage Control? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching. Salute, peace, have a good day.